In this episode, we're going to answer the question, what is a subexpression? In my PowerShell classes, I tell the participants I'm not afraid to play. That means if they ask a question that we can maybe answer inside of our test environment, I'm going to stop the class and start writing some code. Well, one of those questions is, what is a subexpression? So let's take a look. A subexpression allows us to execute code in our string. So we're going to start off with some basic math. Here we're going to start off with 5 plus 10. And when I execute this, PowerShell does the mathematics for you, and we can see that the answer is 15. But when I put it into a string, it actually displays 5 plus 10. Just to clear things up here, I am using write host to project information onto the screen, in this case our strings. In practice, I don't recommend using write host for your output. I recommend putting everything inside of a PowerShell object. But if you're ever making some type of an output for your non-technical users, then write host is a real great way to do it. Or maybe you're trying to project a menu on the screen, then use write host. Other than that, use write output, create an actual object, and use that for your output. But for this demonstration, we're just going to be playing with strings. Let's go ahead and put our equation inside of a sentence. So we have the sum of 5 and 10 is 5 plus 10. Now, once again, it's actually going to project 5 plus 10 on the screen. Now let's do this as a sub-expression. If you take a look here on my screen, you can see that in this string, I put my 5 plus 10 inside of a $sign and then parentheses. The parentheses says, do this first. This is the sub-expression. Whatever is the result of what's inside those parentheses will go into our string. Let's take a look. And you can see the sum of 5 and 10 is 15. And for those who need to project some information for your non-technical users onto the screen, I'm going to have the answer having a little more emphasis to it. So I'm going to use the no new line parameter of write host, and I'm also going to use different colors for displaying the sentence and the result. So when I run these two lines of code together, you can see the sum of 5 and 10 is 15 with a little more emphasis on that 15. But what if I want to run a commandlet in the string? We can do that. Here you can see I'm going to run the commandlet getDate. Now this commandlet is not inside of a substring. So when I run this, it is literally going to put the time as get-date. Here you can see I'm putting my commandlet getDate inside of a sub-expression. And when we run it, the time is, and then it puts the date time information into the string. Now inside that sub-expression, you can also access the parameters of the commandlet. Here you can see I'm calling on the format parameter, and I'm going to give this format hours, minutes, seconds. So when I run this, now my output, my string makes more sense. The time is, and you can see it's 9 a.m. You can also call on the properties of the object that is produced by a commandlet. In this sub-expression, I'm adding in an extra set of parentheses. So essentially, I'm running a parenthetical command here. And then outside of that inner set of parentheses, I'm calling on the year property. But notice you do need to keep the entire thing inside of the sub-expression. So when we run this, the year is 2024. When the results of your sub-expression is a singular value, it's going to be returned as a scalar. In other words, it's going to be something like either a string, a character, it could be any one of our numerical data types, integers, both signed and unsigned, decimal values like single and double, or it could be a Boolean or a byte value. But it can also return an array of objects. Here we have a string, here are your printers, and inside the sub-expression I'm calling the getSim instance against the class win32_printers. Now when I do that, looking down here at the bottom, you can see that we have, well, a lot of objects in this array. So what we're going to do is we just want to get the name of the printers and put those names inside of our strings. To do this, I'm going to put my getSimInstance commandlet inside of a parenthetical command. I'm then going to call upon the name property, and then to kind of make it look a little bit better, I'm calling the join operator with a comma space. So when I run that command, you can see at the bottom of the screen here are your printers, and then it's going to list the names of each printer separated by a comma and a space. Now you always have the option to actually run whatever it is that you want in that string and put it into a variable and then insert that variable into your string. The choice is yours. Here's the results. So subexpressions are simply a way for you to reduce the amount of coding you have to do by putting in the results of an executing command inside of the strings that you're either going to be putting into your PowerShell objects or projecting out to the screen. Thank you for watching, everybody. Hit that subscribe button and I'll see you next time.